name is Mackenzie, and you're in Muller's Gym in Coppell, Texas. Watching Roland's recap.
I want to welcome you to another session of Roland's Recap. I've got to tell you right now, we're coming live in my world again. You know my world is always live. We're coming to you. I'm not even going to give you the gym name. I'm going to give you the address because I want you to swallow this address. 989. Did you hear me? 989 West Sandy Lake Road, Suite 400. We're in Coppell, Texas, and we're watching this gym called Muller Gym. Bring down the house. I've got none other than the renowned amateur who is shaking the tree, baby. He is shaking the cage. I'm going to tell you, he just destroyed, well, I shouldn't say it like that. He put on a heck of an exhibition in Mesquite, Texas. I think they had the Mayhem in Mesquite. None other than Cody Vidal, baby. Let me shake that hand. So good to see you again, Cody.
Good to see you, sir.
How have you been so far?
I haven't actually taken a week off, and most fighters take a week off after they fight. I just went right back to training because it's basically all I do. I'm from Pennsylvania, I moved to Texas for a couple different reasons, but the main reason now, in the end, like the last man standing tall, is training. It's fighting. So I live across the street, and basically on my free time when I'm not working, I'm training.
Sorry. Well, let me tell you, he just said something. He lives across the street. He came from Pennsylvania. I'm going to highlight that because this man came here for one reason, and that was to start a career. I'm almost positive in MMA. I know we've got a lot of things I want to cover here because you know what? First of all, I want to say, Cody, I think you're one heck of a man. I know the interview we had here really told me a lot about who you were. But let me ask you, how old are you, Cody?
22 years old, born September 27th, 1988. So yeah, 22 years old, and I believe I'm young, but I'm kind of a perfectionist. I envision myself on top of the world. When I was 16 years old, I envisioned myself, being 21 years old and having titles and whatnot. Not being Mike Tyson, because Mike Tyson is amazing, but somewhere 25% close to the way where Mike Tyson was as a champion at the age of 19.
That's right. Well, I know as an amateur right now, amateur status does not pay the bills. Tell me what you do. What do you do around here to make sure that you can live?
Well, I actually flew down here from Pennsylvania to be with a friend, and I had an interview with actually the Fort Worth Police Department. There was 3,000 attendees that were applying, and I was just like 60 of them being hired. And my life goal career wasn't to be a police officer. I just wanted to find a job to get myself into Texas so that I can actually pursue my passion, which is mixed martial arts and fighting. Okay. So actually now that didn't plan out the way I expected it to, so I became an assistant manager at Rent-A-Center with Ashley Furniture in Frisco, Texas, and it pays the bills. And I'm very fortunate to have a job.
Well, hey, I want to tell you, I'm going to cut you short right now. If you're out there repossessing some of that furniture, some of those MMA skills might come in handy, but you're in the office, right?
Yes, sir. We don't actually go out in the field too much. We stay in the office, which is great for fighting because I don't have to worry about injuries.
Well, that's good. You know what, Cody, the one thing that I remember that resonates in my mind is your spiritual commitment in giving a recognition to the God Almighty that I know you believe in. Tell me something about that.
Well, everybody, I shouldn't say everybody, many people, they like to generalize God in a format or in a way that everybody can relate to. And I have my own theories, I have my own mind, and I may be wrong, I may be right, but God to me is energy. God to me is life. Energy is the source of life. Isaac Newton has the law. Energy cannot be created or destroyed. And everybody says, well, God made this and God made that. But what made God? God always existed. Energy always existed. Elements create all the life forms and planets and whatnot. But the bottom line is that when I started to, and this was fairly soon, when I started to actually be spiritual, pray, meditate, believe in myself, that's when I actually started to love myself. And through fighting, through training, just the past couple of months, I've actually became a better person. And I'm not preaching to anybody, telling them to do anything specific. I'm just saying, for me, it has worked. Believing in myself has worked. And I believe, slowly becoming the person I want to be, the fighter I want to be. And I'm an honest man, and I have a lot of work to do. And I'm never going to sit here and say, you know, I want to fight, so now I'm on top of the world. No, any given day, a man can fall. And if that happens, if you're a true fighter, you'll stand back up and you'll fight even harder and you'll win even greater bouts.
Well, you know, you use the word becoming several times. And I know that's a word that resonates in your heart. Becoming. You want to become the man that you know you can be, or that you know you need to be. And that's what I love about you. You know what? Let's describe, how would you describe who Cody Vidal is right now inside the cage? How does he train? How does he prepare himself? And then when he gets in the ring, what is all that Cody about?
Well, like I said, I have a perfectionist mind. I'm also a huge procrastinator, and if you study perfectionists, they procrastinate a lot, because what happens is, if they're not perfect at what to do, and they're not going to be perfect, let's just say if they're not great at what they're doing at that point in time, they're like, oh, I'll do it later. But who I am, I'm not going to sit here and tell you I'm this and that, but I will say that I'm harsh on myself, very, very guilty conscious. I'm very ashamed of myself at times when I don't perform the way I want to perform, or I'm not doing something in my life that I want to do correctly. And I think that is a gift and a curse in its own, because sometimes you're too hard on yourself, but at the same time it's a motivational factor. Key is, you know, moderation. It's saying, look, you're not champion of the world. You're not even close. But you have something. Listen, talk to myself. You have something. I have something that, you know, anybody else has. But I'm working with it. And it's called the will. The willpower. The power of will. And when you incorporate that, when you impose your will into your passion, into what you consider your life, there's only going to be two outcomes. One, you're either going to fail, or two, you're going to succeed, you're going to win. And that's a fight in its own, that's a war in its own, and that's a battle I face every day. So when I step into the ring, or I step into the cage, I know that I'm not the greatest. I know, like I said, I'm not even close, but I know I'm getting better. And that's the attitude you have to have, is get better. And like I said in the last interview, believe to become. Believe to become.
Well, I tell you what, you were talking about him getting the cage. When's the next time you're scheduled to get in the cage?
I was scheduled for April 29th with Legacy Fighting, and now it got bumped to May 28th. It's still at the House of Blues in Dallas, Texas.
Okay, yeah, downtown.
And I don't know too much about my opponent, but I believe his name is Philip Miller as of now.
Okay.
And I just can't wait to fight. And I supposedly have a title fight in July with Chop Shop MMA again. Chop Shop MMA.
Did you hear that? Say it real slow again. Title fight, what now?
Chop Shop MMA.
Okay, no date yet, right?
No date, just July.
Okay, remember that. You're going to see Cody. I'm going to tell you, if you haven't seen this young man here in the cage, this man is the cage. This man has identified what I will say. He's defined that right there is his kingdom. That's his domain. And I'm not saying that superficially. I'm not doing it to blow you up. It's what he has done. Tell him what your record is right now.
The record is 4-2, and everybody has their controversial losses. I'm not going to sit here and explain why. The fact of the matter is, I wasn't finished. I wasn't knocked out. I wasn't tapped out. I didn't quit. Every ounce of me kept fighting, even though you're taking a beating, or you're beating yourself up and you're fatigued. You want to quit, you can't. You can't, because then you're not a fighter anymore. Then you're a quitter, and quitters lose. And there's a simple motto: quitters never win, winners never quit.
That's right. That's right. Well, you know what? I'm going to close this up with this right here. I'll never call Cody Team Vidal. He doesn't look at himself like that. He's already straightened me up on that. It's Team Mogul, because it's a concerted, collective, collaborated effort. Not only his coach, his trainer, his manager, and him. It's them. That's what it is. Tell me what's on the horizon. When I come back and I say that, I'm really talking about pro. What is your feel right now about amateur ranks and the pro ranks?
I feel about the amateur ranks and the pro ranks, I think amateurs are getting better nowadays. You have everybody who wants to fight MMA, so like, you're gonna have people that are just jumping into it to do it. And I mean, the same thing you can say for professional, because people want to make money and people want to have their name out there, they want to be out there, they want to be a fighter, because MMA is the fastest growing sport right now. I was on the radio station driving to work the other day, and that's no surprise, because I believe every single sport has come from fighting. And my professional career, I'm not even looking at that right now, because I'm an amateur right now. I'm 4-2 as an amateur. I want to have at least 10 to 15 more amateur mixed martial arts bouts, and many boxing bouts, many Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu bouts, and many wrestling bouts, because I'm what Coach Muller has called the new school MMA fighter. I don't come from a specific wrestling background. I don't come from a specific boxing background or Jiu-Jitsu background. I do it all because it's called mixed martial arts.
Well, I tell you what, Cody, it's been a great pleasure. I love the way you talk. This man's a scholarly gentleman. As you see right here, the tools of the trade are right here on display. The tools of the trade, as you can see. He's going to be using these over in McKinney. He's going to go and step in the boxing ring here, and I think it's going to be April the 8th, 9th, something like that. I can't remember. Is it April the 8th?
May 7th.
Oh, I'm sorry, May 7th. He'll be stepping in using these. So, my bad. But I want to just go ahead and close this up by just saying, as I shake this man's hand, I'm shaking more than a fighter's hand. I'm shaking the hand of a man who has a desire to be the best man he can be in the cage and outside the cage. As we bring this to closure and we said farewell, I want to continue another shout out to Moeller Gym for bringing us the action. We're going to have some more interviews. We're going to go ahead and bring in Mr. Moeller himself, Alan Mr. Moeller here. So you stay tuned. On behalf of www.TexasFisticuffs.com, your love for the sport, Roland Gamez.
Roland Gamez!